Hi, this is Mani from BSc to NSE.com. So in this video I'm going to talk about intraday trend trading, and again looking to trade only the big movements that happen in the intraday. So there are three major phases in intraday that I normally see. One is the opening hour movement. Now as soon as the market opens in the morning, based on the global sentiments and other news that happens overnight, and then there is the noon session between the morning opening hour trend ranges between like morning 9 o'clock to 10:30, max till 11 a.m. And then the noon session takes place wherein on some days it will move extremely big, but on most days it will consolidate, and between 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock you'll not see much movement happening in the markets. And then the post noon session, or like between 1 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. So these are the three major phases, and when you should trade, when you should not trade, and how do you trade these sessions. So number one, you avoid trading on days when Nifty on the daily chart is not trending, which means that on the daily chart, if Nifty is in a very narrow range and the buyers and sellers are not clear on which way they are going, then avoid trading intraday on those days, because markets are probably going to move in a very small range and it will just move back and forth. It may just move up by 30 points and then fall back by 30 points, and it may not happen even in a proper manner. So it will be very hard to time or trade that kind of markets, and it will also not be beneficial, and frustration will creep in. So based on point one, let me show you on the daily chart on Nifty futures. So this is the intraday chart, but I'll show you the daily chart. So this is the daily chart, and once you have this in candlestick, load your Heikinashi so that you can see this clearly. So I'm choosing Heikinashi here, right? And you have to avoid days like, I think you can watch my earlier videos on Heikinashi, 2 or 3 videos I think I've made. So you can see that so here in this middle here, you can see a bunch of dojis like 1, 2, 3, 4 for 5 days. So these 5 days, like as soon as you see a doji getting formed, the next subsequent day you should definitely avoid unless there's a flat top or a flat bottom getting created. So after a flat top gets created and markets has moved big, the next subsequent 2 days you can trade, because you know that the trend is set as negative, and you can expect the intraday trend to be also negative, so you can anticipate a particular trend and trade better in intraday. So these 5 days markets will just move back and forth and in a totally erratic manner, and there will be no predictability, or predictability will be relatively tough. And so avoid intraday trades on the doji formations on Heikinashi. Trade only on days when there is trending, a flat top or a flat bottom. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 flat bottoms on the trot. So you can trade intraday on these days, and 3 days here flat bottom these days. So of course, if it's a flat bottom here and you trade the next day, you will find out that markets have moved big, and the next day of course you should avoid a trade. After a doji, the next day there's more chances that another doji gets formed. So after a doji, the next day you avoid the trade, just sit and watch. And again you can see here a bunch of dojis here. So again these days you avoid intraday trading because it's very difficult to predict the direction and the moves. So again a doji here, so you avoid the next day. A doji here, you avoid the next day. So you avoid certain days for intraday trading. And let me move on to the next point. So the next point is opening hour. So among the three phases that happen in intraday, the opening hour, the noon session, and the post noon session, trade only the opening hour and the post lunch session. Avoid the noon session because the noon session, again like I said, is not going to give a proper movement at all. So the opening hour, use the first 15-minute range breakout as the trading strategy. So what this means is find the range that Nifty or Bank Nifty makes in the first 15 minutes. So that is between 9:15 to 9:30, and use that range. Once after 9:30, if Nifty breaks out on the upside, then go with the upside trade. If Nifty breaks down after 9:30, the first 15-minute range, then you can trade on the lower side. For example, this is Nifty's intraday chart today, and you can see at the bottom here this was 9:45, and this was the first candle here. The big candle that you see here is the first candle, 9:15 to 9:20, 25 to 30, and 9:15 to 20, and 9:20 to 25, and then 9:25 to 30. So the range here for today's opening hour was this. So I'm just drawing a couple of horizontal candles here, and you can see that it was 7725 in futures on the upside and 7659 on the downside. This was the first 15-minute range, and after 9:30 you can see that it did not break on the upside, and market started falling down, and it broke the lower range, which meant that in the opening hour itself that Nifty showed the weakness. Of course, the weakness did not continue immediately till the end of the opening hour, but there will be days when the movement will be extremely big. So and again I can show you the same thing on Bank Nifty. So observe this logic for a few days, and you will find that it'll really be helpful on most of the days. And again, this tick is mostly because of the auction price, opening price. Other than that, if you check the actual spot price and the levels where the first 15-minute range was made, you can see a smaller range. So even if I put it till here, and the first 15-minute range for Bank Nifty today was here. So after 9:30 or the first 15-minute range, it did not go up and break on the upside. Instead, it came down and break on the downside. So the morning opening hour trend itself, market set that the opening hour trend was negative, and on the daily chart also on Heikinashi we were on the negative trending mode. So the opening hour, as soon as it breaks lower, you should look to trade by bidding on the lower side, and once you're in profits, you'll obviously look to book profits. Today there was not much movement to big movement after the breakout to have made really good profits. The same logic you can use for the opening hour to pick the stocks as well, meaning if the Nifty and Bank Nifty breaks the lower range after the first 15 minutes or hits a fresh day low after the first 15 minutes, then you find the stocks which are top losers at that time and pick those stocks and look to short them. Okay, so this is the opening hour range breakout, or the first 15-minute range breakout strategy, and again you can look to use this for option selling as well towards the expiry week and even in other days. And for the post lunch session, you will trade the post lunch session only if the noon session is a very consolidating in a very small range, or the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock market should have traded in a very small range, and after lunch you find out the range, and if it breaks below or breaks upside, you take the trade. So let me explain the trade that happened today. So if you come down here, you can see that this was 11 o'clock. So I'm going to draw a horizontal vertical line here for 11 o'clock and for 1 o'clock. Okay, so you can see that this was Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty traded in a very small range between 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Horizontal. So I'll put this here, and then the upside was also relatively, this was a small range where it was trading. Bank Nifty between 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So post 1 o'clock, it went down almost. It didn't close below this range. I can load the normal candles for the range breakout. You can see that after 1 o'clock it went and hit here. It was not a convincing breakout where the closing price is below this lower range, but then around 2 o'clock it breaks below and closes below this range, and as soon as it drops below the range, you can see that there's massive downside coming couple of candles later, and it continues to drop further till end of the day. So this was the post lunch movement today, wherein the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock was trading in a very small range, and then after 1 o'clock, when it eventually cracked below, and as soon as it broke the range, within 5-10 minutes massive selling came and it dropped further. So this is for Bank Nifty, and for Nifty also I can show again. So let me remove the earlier lines for the opening hour. So you can see at the bottom here the 11 o'clock. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line here, sorry, a vertical line here for marking the time range, the noon session. Again, for Nifty, if you are seeing, it was trading in a very small range, the 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock session, and then post 1 o'clock session, here and all, it was just kissing there, and the close was probably not below the range. And the exact point I have to drag a bit lower here, right? And then post 1 o'clock here, it closed below it, and then as soon as it closed below it, the subsequent candles, it just kept going down further, and then Bank Nifty and probably even the other sectors took Nifty as well down. So this is the post lunch breakout, and in both the cases you can either trade in futures or you can trade in by option selling. Like when it's going down, you sell the call option, and as soon as you go into the profit zone, you put a stop loss. And to use the stop loss, you can load the Heikin-Ashi chart. So for example, here I'll load the Heikin-Ashi, and as soon as it breaks below, you can see a bunch of flat tops. And once you enter the short here, somewhere here, later here, you can set the stop loss here, and as long as the flat top does not get breached, you continue to hold even though the dojis are getting formed. Here use the stop loss at 7622, and it continues to go down further, and once again when a flat top gets formed, push the stop loss lower here, here until the end of the day, so that you can optimize your exit. So that's it for now, and you can, again, like I said, you can try and combine. You can do this on stocks also, or you can just trade it on Nifty and Bank Nifty. So that is up to you, and I leave that to you. Any comments and any queries, as usual, post on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay in touch, and join our trading group to get a free training session. That's it for now. Thank you. Bye bye.